just going to have the sheer desire to win. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up our next speaker, and she is going to rock your world. She's going to talk to you about what we kind of call, sales fuel, really how to make your life hum. Help me welcome the one and only Marguerite Crespillo.
Well, holy cow, if you aren't fired up, then you must be dead, right? Did that work for you guys? Yeah. Brent is so full of energy, it's a little bit of a tough act to follow. So, I'm Marguerite Crespillo, in case you don't know who I am, and I'm super excited to be here today and talk to you guys. I'm a little discombobulated, holding a microphone and a clicker at the same time. But I think I need to actually move it to you got my presentation up there? Let's see, there we go. And how many of you started your day this morning feeling really good, all excited, ready to go, pumped up, then you went to walk out the front door and you pulled an entire cup of coffee down the front of your dress?
Not yet.
No, that wasn't you?
Not yet.
Well, that was me today. So here's a few things that I want to talk about today. Brent talked a lot about open houses and how they work and how to get out there and hustle and how to get business. And what I find many times is that real estate agents, I've determined, are pretty lazy, right? Like, a lot of us are sitting around waiting for business to come to us. We're sitting around waiting for the phone to ring, looking for that magic button, looking for that magic ad that's going to get our phone to ring like crazy. We're waiting to go to maybe one broker to another who's going to give us leads. We're trying to get onto some team who's going to give us leads. We're all sitting around trying to figure out how we can not work. And here's what I'm here to tell you guys. If you have not already figured out, you might have seen my license plate that says no filter on it. So I'm going to get pretty real with you today. And we're going to talk about what we can do to actually go out and get business. How are you, Matt?
Good.
And that means that you have to actually get up, get dressed, put on your big boy, big girl pants, walk out the door, coffee on your shirt or no coffee on your shirt, and go out and hustle if you want to be successful in this business. Because how many people are feeling the market shift a little bit? You're feeling it change a little? Some will say, oh no, we're all good, right? And I can tell you that I've now been in real estate for 25 years. It's kind of crazy. I can't believe it's my 25th anniversary. I started out when I was 12. Don't laugh at that one. And I have seen every kind of market you can imagine. How many of you guys have been in the business 20 years or more? Right, so we've seen some different markets, right? We've seen good markets, great markets. We've seen markets go really sucky, really bad, really bad. And there's an entire generation of you here in this room today that have never seen a bad market. You've never seen a market shift. You've never seen a time when, wow, the phone didn't ring. Oh my goodness, I'm not able to get any clients. Oh, all my family and friends are not going to use me right now. You haven't seen that type of a shift in the market. And so everyone wants to not be called a salesperson. Let me clarify things for you guys. You are in sales. This is a sales job. You are here to sell real estate. Now, I hear all the different terms. Well, I'm providing the American dream. I'm here to help families. I'm here to do all these different things. And yes, that's true. We love what we do. We love the people that we help. We help them find what they need. But at the end of the day, if we don't sell anything, we can't make any money. And while we all look and say, oh, I'm not doing it for the money, how many of you would work a year or more in real estate and not get paid one single penny? Who could survive? Maybe you're an independent millionaire, I don't know. But the reality is that we have to make money. We have to sell homes. We have to go out and do the work that is required to help us connect with more people than ever. Because what did Brent say earlier? He said, we are in a lead generation business, and if you have learned how to generate leads, you hold the gold. You can do anything you want, go anywhere you want, right? So let's talk about the difference between proactive versus reactive. What I find is that most real estate agents that I know of are reactive. We're waiting for things to happen to us. And when those things happen, now we react. So now we jump. Now we go do this. Oh, something happened with this particular transaction, now we're going to solve the problem instead of trying to solve the problems ahead of time. For many of you, with the market shifting, you're not sure what to do. Well, now what do I do? How do I sell houses? When you should have been working all along on ways to generate business. Because there's lots of different ways. Brent showed us one extraordinary way today, open houses. Is that the only way to get business? No, there's lots and lots of ways. But that's an important aspect of it, and to get out and hustle. A few of the things that Brent said that I thought were fascinating. He didn't do open houses for just 2 hours, right? Like we're in the industry where we're like, oh, I'm going to do an open house on Saturday. Okay, cool. What time are you going to do it? 2 o'clock. So you get up, you stroll around, you sleep in, you go have breakfast with the family. At 1:45, you rush out to the garage to grab your 2 signs. You race to the house. You put up your 2 signs. You wonder why nobody's there. Oh, it's been rough. Time to go home. It's 3:30. Right? Like, how many are actually putting in like the true 40 hours a week? And you wonder why the consumers complain about what we get paid. You wonder why they look and they say the commissions are overrated. Because on average, the agents are putting in very little time, energy, and resources to go out there and be there to help support the consumer. So let's talk about some different ways that we need to be showing up. First of all, there's a big difference between the professional and the amateur. And what I find is that the majority of people are amateurs. We show up when we feel like it. We maybe work a couple days a week. We don't go to our regular marketing meetings. We don't get involved in our community. So let's look at some examples of what the difference is between an amateur and a pro. Well, an amateur shows up when we want to. We allow even little things to distract us, right? We do a little bit here. We do a little bit there. Our commitment comes and goes. There's no real stakes in it for us. We dress however we want, if we even get dressed at all. We try to copy others. We have a chip on our shoulder. These are just a few examples, right? Schedule-wise, we don't really have a schedule. We work whenever we think we need to work. We don't have an agenda on what we're doing. We have a tendency to blame others and have lots of excuses why things don't work, why things aren't happening. Oh, it's the market fault. Oh, it's my broker's fault. Oh, it's the seller's fault. Oh, it's the buyer's fault. Oh, it's the other agent's fault. Oh, it's the home inspector's fault. It's the lender's fault. How many people can we possibly blame in a real estate transaction? Right? So the difference is, what does a pro do? Well, let's talk about the professionals. When we talk about professionals, I think of people who've been in real estate for quite a while. Not always. There's new people that show up really professional. What I see and I find interesting is when I go to a lot of educational events or go to a lot of things at our Association of Realtors or marketing meetings and things like that, I see a lot of the same people all the time. The same faces, the same professionals who show up. The same people who are dressed, ready to go, and getting active and involved in our community. So what does a professional do? Well, they have a schedule. They show up every day no matter what. Like Brent said, does he ever cancel an open house? No. When I hear agents go, oh, I'm sniffling, or oh, I understand, you guys, I understand children. So when people say, oh, my baby was sick today, I totally get it. We need to make priorities for children. But I raised 6 children in this industry. And I didn't cancel appointments all the time. What I did is I built my life around, I made sure that my business was built around my life so that I could make sure that I was there for my kids. So are you showing up as a professional? Okay? They accept compensation for their labor. We seek order in our work. We act in the face of fear. We do not allow ourselves any excuses. I know, having survived 25 years in the market, I've worked in every single kind of market there is. So I could have given up. 2007, 8, pretty rough years. Would have been really easy to maybe go find another job or figure out what else I could do. But I'm a full-time professional real estate agent. You know, I can't tell you how many people that I've had who did not want to use their friends as a real estate agent because they didn't feel like they were professionals. And people get, oh, I'm so offended that my friend didn't use me. Well, maybe instead of being upset at your friend for not using you, you should look at the way that you're doing business and see if there was a reason that maybe they didn't feel comfortable using you. Are you doing professional presentations? Are you sitting down and doing a buyer presentation and a seller presentation? Or are you treating a friend like a friend and not presenting to them? When my brother wanted to buy a house several years ago, I remember he said, okay, I'm ready to buy a house. Will you send me a link? I said, no, why don't you and Charlotte come and sit down with me so I can go through the process? He was a lender. He goes, oh, I know the process. I don't need that. I said, really? Because it's the way that I work. So I would like the two of you to come sit down. Because what would the alternative have been? Now, I love y'all men, but how good are you at communicating information to your wives? And I can promise you, if I started giving my brother information, it would not have made it to Charlotte. And how many of the situations are the women primarily, not always, the one who makes the decision about the house? So can you see how that situation could have gone very poorly had I not sat down with them and made sure that I explained the process? So are you, number one, showing up like a pro? Are you being that professional energy and that excitement and being the one that helps them understand the process? Or are you flying by the seat of your pants? There's a big difference. And which one are you? How would you feel if you went into a doctor's appointment and the doctor's like, oh, came in, maybe flip-flops, tank top, didn't wash his hands. Said, oh, I'll explain stuff to you later. So these are some of the things that you have to pay attention to. Now I realize that people say, oh, well, my clients are all comfortable with how I dress or how I wit or what I do or how I am. And my question is, that might work for you. Are you selling as many homes as that you want? Are your clients referring you? Are they coming back to you over and over again? Because if they're not coming back to you and not referring people to you, there might be something wrong. And my favorite book is called QBQ, Question Behind the Question, by John G. Miller. And he says, when you take 100% responsibility for everything in your life, you will find a way to fix it. If you don't take responsibility, then it will become somebody else's fault and you'll ignore it. So when a transaction goes badly, it's really quick for us to blame other people. But let me ask you this. Could you create a checklist that explains to them all the potential things that could go wrong? You could come pretty dang close. Right? And so, little examples. Like, I remember when Brett was talking about the $500 down, we used to do this all the time on back in the day on HUD homes. And so what would happen, or you guys talk about no money down programs, 1% down programs. So the consumer thinks, well, I don't need any money down. How many of you even have done a VA no-no? On the VA no-no, they assume that they need no money. Is that correct? Yes. No. Do they need an earnest money deposit? They need an earnest money deposit, do they not? Now, could they get that money back? Yes. But do they know that they need to have the $1,000 or the $1,500 or the $2,000 up front? They don't know that. So what happens? You get the contract, you accept it, you go, okay, time to send your $2,000 to title. And they're like, what $2,000? Well, it's your earnest money. And we assume that the consumer knows. I don't care how much internet information there is, the consumer does not know what's going on, and they're actually looking to us to get our opinion and get information from us. And that's where our value is. If you guys think your value is simply finding people homes, you're going to be out of business soon. Our value is in helping people understand the process. And so could you take all those little things that go wrong? There's a pest inspection that typically has to be done. Does the buyer know that needs to be done? No. What if you explained it to them up front and said, I want to make sure that you understand the process. All these things are what make you a true professional as a real estate agent. Making sure you understand, because you guys, there's a fine line of trust. And here's how trust works. If I explain something to you up front and it happens, you go, oh yeah, Marguerite warned me about that. And you kind of relax and you move about your day. But if something goes wrong, what starts to go through your head? What else didn't she tell me? She's not prepared. What else doesn't she know? What else is going to go wrong? What else is going to happen? And guess what your buyer and your sellers are doing? The whole time they're questioning you and what you're going to do. So these are some great ways to start really showing up more like a professional. But what else does a true professional do? In front of you guys, you have a success tracker. And we're going to talk about ways to go out and be a professional real estate agent who is proactive about your business. Meaning you're not waiting for anybody to hand you business. You're not relying on anybody to do anything for you. You're going to go find the business. And with the market shifting, now is the time to double down. Yes? They're all on the table? You guys have the success tracker on the table? They're not? Okay, well Rob will get them to you. So, there should be some copies on the table that you guys can pass them around if you're not using them. So this is a tracking form that I use in my business every single day. I learned this from the core, if you guys are familiar with the core coaching. And I modified it a little bit for me, for real estate. And this is the activities that I do every day. So if you guys are trying to figure out what kind of activities you need to be doing, this is an example, okay? And this is ways to be a professional full-time real estate agent, be proactive about your business, and make sure that you're getting everything in that you need to be doing. So let's talk about the first thing, which is outbound calls. I'm talking outbound, which means the phone actually works to call out, not just call in, and it has more features than texting. So you have the ability to actually call out people. And your goal in your job is to actually talk to 10 people a day. Now this sounds easier than it is. Many times I have to make 30 or 40 calls or more to actually talk to 10 people a day. So how many of you are actively reaching out and every single day, 5 days a week, as a full-time professional real estate agent, are making a minimum of 10 talk-tos a day? Very few. So who can you call? People, well, I don't even know who to call. So let's talk about people you could call. Number one, you could call regular leads that you have. You could call old leads. I've been actually going through this list of old leads that I have. Oh, what do you say to them? They're like a year old. I'll say, hey, we talked about a year ago, and you were looking for a house. Are you still doing that? Is that still on your goal list? Are you still hoping to accomplish buying a house this year? And what's the worst response I could give you? I already bought a house. Right? And that comes from the fact that you didn't follow up, you didn't make the calls, you didn't do what you needed to do. So are you making the calls? So let's take this for a moment. If you guys were the boss of you, which you are, and your goal was to make $500,000 this year, and it comes time for you to write a check to you because you're the boss and you're writing a check to your employee, and you're the employee. What's 500,000 divided by 12? What is that? How much is that a month? $42,000. So it's time to write you a check at the end of the month for $42,000. Did you do the work? Did you put in the time? If I were to follow you all around with a video camera today, from the moment you got up to the time you went to bed, what would I see? Did you put in 40 hours of work? Did you put in $42,000 worth of work? So are you making the calls? Who else could you call? You could call family and friends. You could call expires. You could call for sale by owners. You could call your affiliates, your lenders, your title people, your home inspectors. You could call business people, like accountants and financial advisors, CPAs. You could call your heat and air guy. I just got on the phone yesterday with a guy who works for a pest company. I didn't even know that pest company existed. And I spent 30 minutes on the phone with him, and at the end he referred me a client. I just randomly called him, because I had to get my calls in. So who are some different people? Let's throw some things out there. Who could you call? Past client? Painter? Expired, we talked about that.
Every new person you meet.
Every new person you meet. Who else?
Church members.
Church members.
Personal people you use.
Personal people you use. People that parents of your kids' sports teams. Now, do all of these calls have to be, hi, I'm calling to see if you're interested in buying some real estate?
Yes.
They can be. Or they could be, hey, how are things going? What can I do to help you? How can I help you improve your business? How can I refer people to you? Is there anything I can help you with? You could be talking to a painter and he's like, yeah, man, I'm super busy. I'm looking for someone to hire to work with me. Now, if you found that painter somebody to work on his team, you think he's going to help you in the future? So what are you doing every day to make outbound calls? I block out 2 hours in the morning, I sit down and I make my calls. I keep my little journal and I make notes to it. I actually put who it is. Are they a lead? Are they an affiliate? Are they a client? Did I text them? Did I talk to them? Did I leave a message? Y'all can see my journal. It's sitting right over there on the table. Are you making the calls? The next step is what's called face-to-face. The goal of any phone call is to make an appointment, to get in front of them. So how many face-to-face meetings are you doing a week? For me, this counts as 200. Right? What are you doing to get in front of people? Now, it doesn't have to be one-on-one. One-on-one is great. But could you do a home buyer seminar where you get in front of 5 people at a time? Could you do an open house where you get in front of 10 people at a time? Can you get creative and find ways to do more business by getting in front of more people? Here's what I can promise you guys. If you do even 1/10 of what's on this list, your business will improve. If you do 1/10. But if you want to double your business or dramatically improve your business, start by being proactive. Start by putting the energy and the effort into your business. Why did Brent do 18 sales in 30 days? Because he put it out there and he did the work. He didn't just put it out there and say, oh, please, 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 somebody send me 18 transactions. He got up, he did open houses, he made the phone ring, he got out and he hustled. And some of y'all are a little afraid to hustle. So getting in front of people is key. What does break bread mean? Break bread means that you're going to take that relationship to the next level. So a face-to-face person, somebody that you've gotten in relationship with, somebody that you're working with, what I can promise you is when you break bread, when you go and you have lunch with them, or coffee with them, or dinner with them, the relationship and the conversation takes another deeper level. It goes from beyond just selling real estate to what's going on in their life. How's their family? What do they like to do for fun? What are their goals? What are their dreams? What are their visions for themselves and their family? When you sit down and have a meal with somebody, your conversations always go deeper, do they not? It becomes more about the person as opposed to the business. And again, in order for us to survive in this industry with all the disruption that's going on, what will keep us alive more than anything are the relationships that we have. The relationships we've built and the people that we've connected with who trust us to help them with the biggest financial decision that they're going to make in their life. That's a pretty powerful place to be. It's a pretty amazing place to be when you've helped people time and time again. So what's the next thing? This is all, again, pre-active. Events attended. This means getting out and participating in events, not just real estate events. While we all love for you to be here, you need to be going to events where you can earn business. It could be charity events. It could be chamber mixers. It could be your kids' school events. You can host events, put on events. I personally love to have parties. So we have parties all the time, or we have events. We have Take Your Realtor to Lunch Day, where you can take your client on their birthday, you call them up and you say, hey, I'd like to take you to lunch today. Do you want to invite 5 or 6 of your coworkers? So they bring 5 or 6 of their coworkers to lunch, and now what just happened? I got 5 or 6 people I can talk to about real estate. Because how do you think they introduced me? Guess who's going to our lunch today? Our real estate agent. So what do you think the topic of the lunch conversations are? Gosh, Marguerite, what's happening in the real estate market? Can you tell me what's going on in Roseville, or what's happening in Rockland, or what's going on over here? Should I sell my house? Should I not sell my house? Is it a good time? Is it a bad time? Guess what? I just got to have 5 face-to-face, 5 break bread, 5 conversations about real estate. Pretty powerful, right? Leads generated. How many actual leads did you generate during your time that you're prospecting? If you're talking to somebody on the phone and they say, hey, I wanted to tell you about my sister-in-law, she's thinking about buying a home, that counts as a lead. You talk to that client and they say, yeah, I'm thinking about buying next month, that counts as a lead. Are you even tracking your leads? I posted in my Facebook group yesterday and I asked all the agents, where did your last listing come from? And I had 25 people respond, 24 of them said sphere of influence. So why are we spending so much money in advertising? Why are you spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on Zillow and Realtor.com and Homes magazines? When the majority of you, if you would just put a little tiny bit of effort into your database, if you have one, if you don't have one, I'm going to hunt you down. It's the most valuable thing you own. I'm talking about that tomorrow at the Placer County Association of Realtors if you guys want to come. But what are you doing right now to stay in contact with those people? The majority of your business is coming from your database. But why are you not being proactive with it? How can you be more proactive with your database? How can you be more engaging with them so that you can do more business out of it? So what kind of events have you been doing? What kind of leads have you generated? How many leads? Because what I can tell you right now is I can tell you exactly where your business will be 90 days from now if you just show me your numbers. The beauty of numbers is that they don't lie to you. They don't lie. So if you're not closing as many deals as you want to close, it's nobody else's fault but yours. And these are some simple ways that you could reach out. How many hours did you actually spend prospecting? Hardly anyone has a regular schedule for actually reaching out and prospecting every day. I remember back in the day when I first got into real estate, there was an old Prudential office over there in Roseville. It was where my first office was. And every morning when I would come into the office, there was this guy named Tom. And Tom would literally, not Tom Davis, but he's here too, but Tom I know does this for a fact, is every day I would go in and he had a sign outside of his door, do not disturb under any conditions from 8 to 10 a.m. Like if there's a fire, don't call me, don't interrupt me, call the fire department. He literally locked his door, no one was allowed in, and the guy sold 100 homes a year. Every day, without fail, made his calls, prospected, did what he needed to do to get business. So when you look at the top people in the industry, what I can promise you is number 1, they show up as a professional real estate agent. Number 2, they do the work every single day. They put in the time, the energy, and the resources to get the business. They prospect every day. They're very simple creatures, most of us. They have a very simple routine. They do the same thing every single day. They're not flying by the seat of their pants. They're not out there trying to do a million different things. As Brent said very clearly, very focused on what it is they're doing. Very focused. A single focus. So what are you actually doing? Are you sending out thank you notes? Are you being grateful? Are you helping enough other people get what they want? When was the last time some of you ever even wrote a thank you note? You know, I still get excited about mail now. There was a time when we got lots of junk mail, right? But now we don't really get a whole lot of junk mail. So aren't you so excited when you get a birthday card? Yeah. Like, I'm so excited. I get one every year from Southwest Airlines. And I'm so excited. It's an actual real card. Like, I have to open it. It's so cool. But for many of us, we're not sending little notes or thank you cards. Like, they're few and far between. We're getting so accustomed to the way that we're communicating with text messaging and social media. Like yesterday, I think the whole world had a panic attack when Facebook was down for a little bit yesterday. Any of you guys try and get on there and you couldn't comment or you couldn't upload something? People were literally freaking out. Like, is this the end of the world? Facebook went down. They were like, oh my gosh, I can't like my friend's post. I was like, maybe y'all can pick up the phone and call them. How are you doing? Right? What's going on in your life? What's new? Like, I think it would be hilarious if they just completely shut it down for a few days and see what would we do? We'd all have panic attacks. So are you sending thank you notes? Are you sending any kind of mailers? If any of you guys have known me for a while, I have mailed to my database every single month, good old-fashioned snail mail, for 25 years. I send a little story about me and my life. I don't send real estate information. I don't send what's going on in the market. I don't send statistics. I don't send anything that, because the people in my database know me, like me, and trust me. So to hear a little bit about my life, if you want to see any examples of that, you can go to marguerite.crespillo.com and click on the blog, and you can see some of the letters that I've written over the years. So on here, you can see, if you guys look at the one in front of you, there's a point system, because real estate agents are a little competitive, are they not? And so you can give yourself points, as you can see, for each of the activities that are on there. You want to get really good? Share it with somebody else. Let somebody else know that you're keeping track and that you have points, and you want to know if they can hold you accountable. What are some ways that you could start reaching out? So let's talk about ways of who do I call? Who do I reach out to? You can do things like talk to accountants, appraisers, architects, auto sales. One of my best referrers is the guy who sells RVs. He's like, there are all kinds of people where they want to downsize. They're, empty nesters. They're going to sell their house and buy an RV. He refers me all kinds of people. Would you have ever thought an RV salesperson would have been one of your top referrers? Catering services, chiropractors, college friends, community boards, consultants, counselors, credit advisors, your daycare, insurance agents, as Dawn said, house painters, photographers, physical therapists, piano lessons, pizza shops. See, so many of you have been doing the same thing, the same way, for so long, and you're wondering why you're not getting different results. This is a long list. Could you add names to this list? All kinds of stuff. Scientists, scouting, temporary help, tennis clubs, tire services, UPS drivers, veterinarians, water company. This is just a small list of all types of people that you could call and you could reach out to. We are in a relationship business. We're in a business where our goal and our job is to build and develop as many relationships as you can, so that someday you don't have to work as hard. So that someday you can relax while your phone is ringing and sending you tons and tons of business. These are just a few of the things that you can do. Get a picture of that? There you go. So these are some examples that we just went through. Face-to-face, listing appointments are considered face-to-face, buyer appointments are considered face-to-face. Showing homes is considered that. Meeting with people who can give you business. So when I hear people say, oh, I got face-to-face this week, I had lunch with my friend who's a real estate agent. Is that real estate agent going to give you business? If not, they don't count. But one other huge resource are real estate agents around the country. If you're not attending things like Brent talked about, Tom Ferry events, Craig Proctor, different trainings, Brian Buffini, all these different things, and don't do it here, go somewhere else. Even if it's just an hour drive to the Bay Area. Are those great ways to meet other agents in other markets that can refer you business? 6 deals last year came from out-of-area referrals for me. One who's only an hour away. She lives in West Sac. She doesn't want to drive to Lincoln. I said, okay, I'll give you a referral fee. She was thrilled with the referral fee, and then when those clients referred somebody, I sent her a referral fee too. So she's earned a significant amount of money this year for me. She doesn't have to drive to Lincoln. She's like, okay, awesome. Visiting builders and business people. There's a thing called the milk route, if you're not familiar with that. A milk route means that you create a list of people that you call on a regular basis. My brother, after his wife died of breast cancer, moved to San Diego. And he didn't know a single solitary person down there. He was in real estate. So he developed a list of attorneys. And he picked the top 20 attorneys that he wanted to work with. And he called on their office every single week without fail. Got to know the receptionist, figured out how he could get in to meet with the attorney. He got involved in the attorney network, and he did $26 million his second year down there in real estate. Exclusively from his milk route, from just going out and calling on attorneys every single week, without fail, every week. We have examples of that. Title reps do it here in our area, right? Calling offices, check in, see how people are doing. Build relationships, get to know them. That's a key component, is it not? So, break bread, we talked about that, deepening the relationship, breakfast, lunch, dinner, coffee. I have a gal who's in Chicago, Illinois, who's on my team. Every Friday, she goes and sits in a Starbucks, and she lets everybody in her database know that anytime they want, she'll be there every Friday. They can come just ask questions about real estate. She sits there and she talks to people all day long. She has a little sign on the back of her laptop. She has all kinds of people coming up and asking her questions, and she's got a ton of business out of doing just that every single Friday without fail. Making it happen. Again, events attended and hosted. How many leads have you generated? How many hours did you prospect? Did you send out thank you notes? Did you do any kind of mailers to your database? Maybe you did a mailer to a particular area. And so this is where we start to track our results, because we're in a results business, right? We get paid by the efforts that we put in, and we get paid on the results. So if you're not making the kind of money that you want to make, then you're not necessarily putting in the effort to make that happen. We don't get paid by the hour. We get paid by the results. We get paid on results for the efforts that we put in. So what did you do to make it happen? How many buyer listing contracts you can write at the end there? You can write your escrows and contracts. And instead of closings, I like the word better, celebration in most situations, right? We love to celebrate with them the fact that they've sold their home or bought another home, depending on the circumstances. So what are you doing to actually track the results? It's super easy, guys, to really track your numbers and to create that consistency in your business. If your business is not hitting the levels that you want, it's because you're not doing the work to make it happen. And if you simply look at your numbers, you'll quickly see where you need to put in more effort. And it helps you create a schedule for yourself and for your business. And so I am doing a class. If any of you guys are interested, I'll be doing an 8-week class called Sales Fuel, where we actually track and hold you accountable in this. If any of you guys are interested in that, you can go to realestatesalesfuel.com and put your name in the interest list. We do charge for the class, a couple $100. I promise you, if you do the work, you'll make at least 20 tons of that, if you're interested in that. But this is just a few ways that you can be proactive with your business right now. And put in the effort, put in the work, and put in the time. If you're struggling with getting that done, get an accountability partner. It could be anybody. It could be someone in your office. I don't recommend your spouse. It could be someone you know. You could sign up for the class if that's something you're interested in. It could be your lender. It could be anybody that you want. But what are you doing and what are your goals for this next year? I love when people say, oh, I'm going to do $500,000 next year. Great, what did you do last year? Oh, I sold like 3 houses. Okay, I'm not going to crush anybody's goals. I really encourage you to do that. But are you willing to put in the work associated with that? Because $42,000 a month comes down to about $10,000 a week. Or $2,000 a day. Or a little less than $200 an hour. What is it? A little more than $200 an hour. So how many of you are doing $10 an hour work instead of $200 an hour work? That's the real dilemma. That's the stuff we have to look at and be excited about. And maybe your goal isn't to hit 500,000. Maybe your goal is to hit 100,000. Whatever your goal is, the beauty of this real estate industry is we can develop and be whatever version of success we want to be. For some of us, that's only selling 6-10 homes a year, doing it around our family schedule. For some, it's 100 homes a year. Some, it's 200 homes a year. I know for me, when I first got into real estate, my first goal was to make more money than my husband. My second goal, I know I'm a little competitive. My second goal was to sell 100 homes a year. I did that my 3rd year in real estate. Then I said, okay, how can I do 200? How can I get on this list? How can I get on that list? Now my goal is to not sell as many homes, but to spend more time giving back and spending more time with people like you. So that's really all I have today. If you're interested in my class, you can go sign up. Otherwise, we've got an amazing speaker following me next. Brent, are you coming back up?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, guys.